Hello, my name is Arthur. In the last video, I was struggling around with how to get two guns to work on my tank unit, and I decided that that was frustrating me, so I went and deleted the machine gun off of the tank. So what I'm going to do is, when I have a menu in place, I'll look at having bonus weapons. So kind of like something maybe you'd pick up out of a crate, and you would shoot um, by selecting it in a menu and assigning it a target for the unit. So kind of it would be something that the player has to interact with and use and directly. So probably something along those lines. Now that decision was made, the turret script is simplified and it's fit to be used for fixed positions, and basically any rotating turret can use this script now because of the simplification, and that seemed like the best way to go about it. So there's no actual real changes to the script other than slimming away some stuff that shouldn't have been there and things that were complicating it unnecessarily. So other than that, everything's the same. The address is maybe slightly different because I did a little bit of reparenting on the tank unit, and I made the turret the child of the kinematic body. I've made the body and the chassis just kind of out there pieces because they're just decorations, and deleted the machine gun, and then left the detect area as child of the turret because that's the way it would be if it was a fixed position, or if it was the machine gun on a Jeep, it would use this turret script. They're all pretty much the same, and yeah, about the only thing that would have to be changed is that on the turret, certain things would need to be export variables rather than constants, because the max angle for a turret is different than the max angle for a fixed gun position, or a gun on a Jeep, or a soldier's gun if I was to make a soldier unit. So yeah, those would be export variables, and the same thing goes with some of the variables for the unit script, because it's the same way. It can be a script for whatever type of vehicle now, and maybe have an additional script, like where the vehicle has its own script that inherits from unit script, and yeah, so something along those lines. So what I did for changes and the topic for this video is applying damage. So now the turrets can aim, they can shoot, and it's time that the player can take some damage and the enemies can take some damage. So I gave the shell hit points. I set it at 10, and now when the shell enters a body, it checks for the method apply damage and sends its hit point. So and then the bullet disappears, which really, this should get turned into an explosion of some kind, and that we'll look at later, the same as a unit explosion. So what I did with the unit is I gave it a particles emitter, and just gave it a smoke particles. So when it gets hit the first time, the emitter is turned on, and as it takes damage, The percentage of life remaining is subtracted from the maximum life, and what that does is it increases the amount of particles. So the more damage, the more particles. So the smoke becomes heavier and heavier until he dies. And then again, this should be some kind of explosion. So where we've done a crate explosion, an explosion for a tank, and an explosion for a bullet or things that should also get done. So those would be some things I would be looking to do. And yeah, that's about it for changes. We can have a look at how it works. The turrets are able to aim up and down. Occasionally the tank will get a little confused on the hill, and his turret won't quite do what it should be doing, and it kind of depends. So that move probably caused me to die first. As it takes hits, the smoke emission changes, and what's happening is it stops for some reason when the amount is changed. So changing the amount is causing that interruption, and I don't see any way about that. It's just going to keep doing that. That's the way it works. So yeah, that's it. I've added in a little hill just to be able to have a better hill to see that the turrets we're working on. And they're working fine. They home properly and they do what they're supposed to do. So the simplification has helped, and I'll be able to proceed a little bit easier without racking my brain about how to handle a second gun without a menu. So yeah, we'll look to do some map stuff and get some other assets and come up with some kind of a menu and see what I can get going with this particular project. So I hope that was helpful, and until the next video, take care.